back in the old rockin' days in the 80s, girls didn't really, you didn't see girls rocking out there. And the punk rock scene came along in the late 70s and things really started changing. And I have to say, I believe Joceylin Fedrau is the first girl musician that I ever saw. And that blew us all away. She was totally, totally a cool chick, and we're going to chat with her and find out all about the old rockin' days in Fresno and Capital Punishment and punk rock. And we'll see a little bit of Joceylin playing her bass right now. So here's a little Capital Punishment.
Arrived, 2 by 2. The brother greets them at the door. The boss is there, shaking hands.
And here we are with Joceylin.
Hi,
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So you go way back in the Fresno scene. And I loved your response when I asked you, how long did it take you to decide to be a bass player?
About 30 seconds.
About 30 seconds.
Yes, it's true.
You always wanted to do something performance-wise?
Well, I never really thought I would be able to tell you the truth. I never expected it, but I always wanted to. I had a girlfriend, and we would be playing in the living room, dancing around playing air guitar, and I was partial to the harmonica too, and we played to Aerosmith or whatever.
Do the lip syncing thing.
Yes, exactly. But I really never thought it would happen for me, but I'm really happy it did.
And you were right there at the beginning of the whole punk rock scene, especially in Fresno. We were a small town in those days.
That's right.
Probably 50,000 people.
Yeah, actually I had a friend that was, I used to hang around with a group of people in Kingsburg, of all places, and they were very on the cutting edge of current music and what was really happening, and he introduced it to me, and I really liked it. I didn't know that I could fit exactly all the genre of the safety pin in the cheek and all that, but I went up to San Francisco and was in the girls' bathroom, and a woman came up to me and said, "How long have you been into punk?" And it was the first time I'd ever been to a show, so I thought I might fit in.
They didn't recognize that you were from Fresno or from the Valley.
I think it was the heavy makeup at the time.
Yeah.
So.
The makeup was cool. Did you like Susie Sue and all the
Oh, yeah.
and the eyeliner?
Oh, yeah.
I've always been an eyeliner freak. I think it's a Cleopatra thing.
Me too.
And she was so cool.
A vampire,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to learn to play the bass?
Actually, I had a little bit of piano, so that kind of helped me. I think it's the same progression of the notes.
Right.
So actually, Dale taught me how to play, and Dale Stewart, and it didn't take that long, but he made it easy for me. He'd break it down, and our songs weren't that complicated.
Right,
so.
and he'd teach you your parts. And
That's right. That's right.
What was your very first show?
The first show I played was actually, it was a house party in Fowler, and it was pretty exciting for me. The first thing that happened when we were setting up, before we ever did anything, a guy came up to me and said, girls can't play bass, and so that was my introduction.
Because why, you weren't coordinated or you couldn't hear?
I don't know. I think it wasn't the norm.
Yeah, exactly. In those days, it wasn't the norm.
I think in those days, that a lot of rock music was male-oriented. And it was, I don't know if it was taboos, but I think when I was born was in the mid-50s, as I was growing up, it was in the 60s and the 70s, and there was the civil rights movement that
Right.
broke through the barriers for racial discrimination. In the 70s, there was the women's movement,
Exactly.
which broke through, all the discrimination for women, gave them equal rights, equal pay. And so I think that kind of set everything up for the 80s. It kind of dispelled all those expectations of who can be in a band and, who can
Right, and you were right
play.
there ready to do it.
I guess I was, yes.
It's very, very exciting.
Yeah, it was really exciting for me.
So Capital Punishment actually went on as one of the first big punk rock bands from Fresno, and you guys actually became very, very popular.
Yeah, and we started out, we put on our own shows. So,
Right.
We had our own stage, so, that made it easier. We didn't have to wait for someone to invite us to play.
And where was that?
Oh, gosh, we played all over. I think the first show that we put on was the actual, it was at the Belmont Ballroom, and it was DOA from Canada.
Okay.
And, we got to play on it because we were putting on the
All
show.
right, that's why I put on shows.
Yeah, so that was kind of, it made it easier for us because I don't think anybody else would ever asked us to play in
There
any of
weren't
the
any other
nightclubs.
punk rock shows.
No, not really. And I don't think we were, a lot of people liked punk rock.
Well, and it was a lot of underage, younger people too who couldn't actually get in, so you had to broaden your hopes there.
Yeah, it was just so, I think it was so unusual at the time. I don't think people understood it, and they were kind of afraid of it,
So that house party that you played in Fowler, where was that? I'm thinking, was it at the farm? Was it at a farm?
No, it was a guy, his name was Davey.
Okay.
And he put on the
Was it Black Flag that played out at the farm? Do you remember that?
You mean,
I remember being at a big farm, it's a
Was
peach
it-
farm,
Oh, I'm
and it was my friend's grandparents' farm. And
Was it Rockhaven or?
maybe it was.
It might have been, but I don't know that it was Black Flag that played.
Who played that?
It
was
was
someone
see,
very
I think
famous.
It was 45 Grave that actually
Okay.
played one of those at one of those places, but I couldn't
Okay.
say the memory.
We can't, yeah, it's that whole memory thing. It has been 30 years ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows too.
Yeah,
A lot of bands
exactly.
and a lot of shows.
So yeah, you got to play some big, with some big bands here in Fresno too that became very popular or very iconic in the punk rock scene.
Yeah, we did. We played with Minor Threat, MDC, Green Day.
Right, I love the Green Day.
Yeah, so we did. We got to end Dead Kennedys,
Right. Dead Kennedys, wasn't that out at a farm? Wasn't that at the farm?
I don't know.
Well, I was like 18 years old.
I'd have to consult.
Well,
Yeah,
we will
maybe
take
so.
a break and we'll do some consulting and we'll be right back.
You're stretching my memory, girl.